What's up, everyone? Ryan Roberts for Inside the Hashes. This exclusive look, I don't know why I even said that, but I'm just so used to saying exclusive. This is our second annual draft selection show. If you guys were joining us last year, you know who we both are. Ryan Roberts with Sam Kirk. He's the champion. I lost in the championship round. Sam, I'm going to give you a second just to gloat if you feel like it, because we never talked in person about this.
I just want to thank all you guys for letting me build that team last year and passing on that team that eventually brought me to glory. Yeah.
Wonderful. That was well spoken. It's like you practiced that or something. So we're coming to you from Inside the Hashes. If you haven't seen us before, I mean, you should because you're watching on social media, right? So that makes a lot of sense. But www.insidethehashes.com, all our content. We have podcast team, RPO podcast, Air It Out podcast. We have more podcast teams coming along. I'm not going to break that off to you too soon, though. We have a bunch of interviews on there. We have a blog. We got a bunch of great people working for Inside the Hashes. Big shout out to Jerome Jones, who is the CEO of the company, for putting this together for the second straight year. We're really excited about it. I just really want to get this started because I am just so excited. I mean, I have some redemption happen this year. Todd Gurley did me bad the last 4 weeks of the season. But, Sam, just what is the strategy this year? Because usually it's a running back first, but, man, there's some talent at running back. There's a little depth. What are we looking at this year?
I really believe that there's a lot of depth at running back, and last year I went with Hopkins and Julio, and I kind of was able to ride them and load up on like more volume with running backs. So I feel like if you are able to get 4 running backs that you could mix and match, and then those like receivers, the top 5 receivers, top 7, and you have 2 of them, I really think you're gonna have a shot to win your league. Yeah.
All right. And speaking as the champion, I need to know your top 10 players at each position. Go. Just kidding. All right. So we're gonna get this ball started right here. Okay. Thank you guys so much again for watching. We also have gaming coming out soon. Jerome wanted me to give the plug in for that. Okay.
You guys can check it out. It'll be on YouTube. Hopefully soon. We're gonna start off rebuilding the Giants. Hopefully, fix that mess a little bit. Yeah, should be fun. Yeah, it should be fun, so check it.
Great segue there. So we have a bunch of kind gentlemen here who are in this league. We have some guys that aren't here, so we'll be making the picks for them. How it's going to work with the picks. We have this football, Jerome's old football, I guess. I don't know. But inside, you have to reach inside for your pick position. We're going at random here. We shuffled these cards up. Fortunately for Mr. Richie Dortis, I said that correctly. I hope he can come on up. He can join us. We're going to ask him a couple questions. He's going to select his team, and we'll get the ball rolling. A little bio about Mr. Doris as you're getting the camera on him. He's originally from Staten Island, New York. He has a twin brother who is here in studio. He didn't say what his name was, but he's here. And then favorite food is pizza, which is great because we have pizza right now, so it works out wonderful. Richie, your thoughts just about your first time being with Inside the Hashes in this league and maybe some strategy you might have. I'll let Sam hold that mic.
First off, I would like to thank Jerome for giving me the opportunity to be with this company. It's a very fun company, a very interesting company. And I love fantasy football. No, I've never missed the playoffs, so I'm going to continue that run this year.
All right.
And I'm excited to be a part of this. I'm excited to see what you guys think, how you guys draft, how you guys go about your business about this. And I'm excited for just to be a part of this.
Awesome. Okay,
I think you are, you were talking about how you had a draft earlier, and I think you're a veteran in the fantasy league. So if you were to give anyone advice that out there that isn't familiar with fantasy football, what would you say?
For this year, I felt like if you have a high pick, you gotta go top running back. But if I had a lower pick, you might want to go RB0 actually, and take 2 the wide receiver ones, and get a guy like Chris Carson as your top back. Chris Carson, Phillip Lindsay, Kenyon Drake, or even Ballard or Balaj, however you say his name. Mm-hmm. Either of those guys.
Yeah.
Because the wide receivers I've noticed there's a big drop off after Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs. It drops off to the 8th, 9th, 10th round. And I am a very big believer in you need to get a good tight end because it treats you as a third wide receiver.
Okay.
And
let me ask you a question here, Richie. All right, so my question for you: you're being very informative, which is great. You're being you're being very even keel. I know that you're excited for this, but you're a rookie here, so you tell me why you're going to win this season.
I've only won once before, and I know the formula for that, and I'm good at snubbing people on trades.
Okay.
Yeah. I got
trade
Philip
machine.
Lindsay for Robert Wood.
Philip Lindsay for Robert Woods. That's a good trade. I like it. All right, Richie, I'm going to have you dig into this football, find your pick position, and maybe we'll do a couple follow-ups for it.
Let me show it to the camera.
Yeah. All right, let's see what we got here.
It's a good pick, number 4.
Number 4, Mr. Richie Dordas with the number 4th pick. Your initial thoughts on picking number 4?
Be careful what running back you pick.
Oh, I like that. I like it.
He's hitting that Zeke, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so Zeke, gotcha. Okay, are you a Cowboys fan? You look like you might be a Cowboys fan. No? Okay. Cleveland Browns. Okay. All right. Mr. Richie, give us a little bit of just your closing remarks on the 4th pick. You told us don't pick the right running back. We understand that that's in the philosophy. What is just your overall perspective on what you're expecting from this draft?
Keep your team balanced, because with the 4th pick you don't have a big like when you have the 1st pick, you have the 1st pick, then you have a long time to get the next pick. This one you kind of have like the even amount of picks. Mm-hmm. So if you keep your team balanced and you probably have a good shot at getting good points from every position, instead of like loading up on like quarterback and then getting nothing from your receivers or vice versa.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, Richie, good luck, man. You can step down. Richie Dordas with the 4th pick, the first pick in this draft. Thank you for joining us, man. All right. Let's see. Here, let's shuffle this up for a second. I'll let you pick off the top there and see who we got.
Oh, look who it is.
Look who it is.
The guy I beat last year.
Oh.
Okay, we got Ryan Roberts here, who's a victim of myself in the championship round. He's a wife and 2 puppies, high school football player, track coach for 2 years. Marshall Falk and Luke Keithley, 2 favorite players.
I meant to write 7 years of coaching. My bad.
7 years.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a difference. Sorry.
So Ryan,
Yes.
you took a tough loss last year with the Todd Gurley injury. You had a very, I think you had a well-balanced team, and
Appreciate that. Yes.
I don't want to admit this, but I do think you would have beat me if Todd Gurley was healthy. So I'm gonna ask you to give some advice to the viewers about going through their draft process, considering you are a well-acclimated drafter.
Okay, well, unfortunately, as Sam said, I took the L in the championship game. Todd Gurley was a tough loss this past season for the final 4 games. I'm not going to give you too much because I am coming back for blood this year. I'm angry. Look in my eyes. I'm angry. Okay.
I'm scared.
All right. So I'm ready to go. I'm not taking any prisoners, so I'm not giving you guys any secrets. You don't want these secrets. I'll write it for a book. You can buy it for $9.99, okay? That's all I have to say.
I don't know how much you remember from last year about your
Yes.
roster, but
Yes.
I know you had Todd Gurley really carried you. Was there a certain player that was kind of just an X factor, almost a underrated part of your team that brought you to a chance to win it all?
I'm trying to remember who was on my team, to be honest. Man, that is. Oh, okay. I will say this. I was lucky enough to get Travis Kelce at the end of the 2nd round last year, and he propelled me last year. He had a great season. I think we talked about a little off air that the depth at tight end isn't great. So I think if you don't get one of those top 3 guys, it might be a little tough for you.
Yeah. So after those top 3, it's kind of like you're really scratching your head on who's gonna have that breakout. Who's gonna be the 4th guy? There's a couple guys that could. Evan Ingram, O.J. Howard, Hunter Henry. You can make a case for a couple other guys, but like Ryan said, like Travis Kelce is you could almost call him a top 10 wideout, and especially with a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball, he doesn't have his ceiling is pretty high. So,
All right. Should I pick then?
Yeah.
All right.
Here we go. Yeah.
Avery's just mad. Avery's still mad that he picked Le'Veon Bell last year with the first pick.
I'm picking Zeke this year.
Number 1.
Nope.
Oh man, I got number 2 last year. Yeah. All right, I will say this. You don't even have to ask me any questions. I'm not going to mess this up. All right.
So I won't ask you to give too much away, but do you know your pick right here and right now?
I will say this just to be safe here.
Okay.
It's going to be between 3 guys, but yes, I know who I'm going to pick.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
So, we're going to move on here.
Let's move on.
He's picking Melvin Gordon.
Oh.
Oh, look
And
how
here we
perfect
go.
this was.
True, yeah.
This is like we planned it or something. So we have Mr. Sam Kirk, the 2018 champion. He has a twin. How many twins do we have? We have 3 twins. Wow, okay. He's a huge Giants fan. I'm sorry. He beat a bunch of old guys in fantasy last year. That's good. That's good. That's good. All right. Let's start with the Giants fan thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why? Because we need to discuss this, man. In a room full of, well, actually, there might not be a ton of Eagles fans here. In a room full of, well, maybe I should rephrase this. In a region that traditionally supports the Philadelphia Eagles, being a South Jersey resident, your thoughts on the Philadelphia Eagles?
Okay, I'm going to be completely honest. I really think the Eagles are going to have a strong year. And I don't want to say that. And I think they're going to beat my team twice, like they always do. But Carson Wentz this year is his time to show. Well, he should have won MVP 2 years ago, but this year is going to be his coming out party. Louis Riddick told everyone he's going to win MVP, and I agree with that statement. So that's a lot coming from a Giants fan, but I think Deshaun Jackson's going to really make a difference, considering he could throw the Wentz is known for throwing the deep ball pretty well, and I think the addition of Miles Sanders is going to help even out the run game. So especially if that offensive line they have, I think they'll be in a good spot. And with the problems that Dallas has right now with their contracts,
Sorry, I forgot my watch.
I think the Eagles may run away with the division.
Okay. All right. Who's going to get sacks on that team this year? Who do you think? The Giants I'm talking about, of course.
Oh God, yeah, that's a problem. So the Giants' defense it's nothing pretty, but there's going to be a bunch of young guys that are going to get in there, mix it up for James Betcher's defense. I really think Lorenzo Carter is going to have a shot to get a couple sacks this year. It's his second year from Georgia. I'm really hoping he takes that leap from his first year.
Let's just say a couple means 2.
Yeah, the sacks are going to be hard to come by, but I really hope Dexter Lawrence is able to, even his weight being like 320, I don't know what he's at, but if he could push the middle, I think if he's able to rush the passer a little bit, that's just going to prove Dave Gettleman made a good pick.
All right. We're going to talk a little draft here, okay? Because you had Daniel Jones, who's the 6th overall pick. A lot of people... 4 minutes. No, I'm going to keep going as long as I want. Daniel Jones with the 6th overall pick. I'm just messing. 6th overall pick. We had Dexter Lawrence, right, who was the next pick, and then we had DeAndre Baker.
Yeah.
Which one was your favorite pick, and can you defend the Daniel Jones pick at 6?
Okay. Even though Jones' start to the preseason has been pretty hot, I cannot defend the pick. But my favorite pick is the Dexter Lawrence pick. I think he's very comparable to Fletcher Cox. He's able to rush the passer even at that size, and I think the Giants will be able to stop the run like pretty well this year, considering with Dalvin Tomlinson, B.J. Hill, and Dexter Lawrence. But their problem is going to be rushing the passer. But I think Dexter Lawrence could make a big impact right off the bat. But DeAndre Baker's injured right now. I don't know how much impact he's going to have year one. And Daniel Jones, my guess he won't play year one. So.
Last question, then we'll get your pick. Sorry, Jerome, I'm running over here. Beat a bunch of old guys in fantasy.
Okay. Yeah.
Define old. What's old mean?
So.
Because I'm going to put this out here. I'm 27.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So I would say if I made a joke or a reference, it maybe would take just a little longer for you guys to, just that type of stuff.
All right, I like it.
But we got some more youth, I believe, this year, so maybe that'll bring some more competition, and you guys will be able to stop me.
Okay. All right. Well, my dad's been running fantasy leagues since he was since 1967. So let's have you pick your spot. Right. Yes. Boo. All right. Yeah. Boo. All right. There we go.
Booze for the reigning champ.
Booze for the reigning champ. That's
There we
it.
go.
Booze for the reigning champ.
And I'll be picking 9.
Number 9. Wow. Huh. Initial thoughts.
I think I was around the same area last year, and it happened to work out, as you guys know. But I kind of like 9 because I get another pick right around the corner, so I'm in a comfortable spot.
Who do you have your eyes on? Just a couple players.
I see what you're doing there. I like I said before, if I could able to get 2 top receivers, I really think I could be able to get a couple running backs and be okay. So
If Todd Gurley was there at number 9, would you take him?
you'll have to see. Check it out September 1st.
All right, wonderful. We're going to move on here. Thank again the CEO of Inside the Hashes, Jerome Jones. www.insidehashes.com. Does a great job. He's continuing to get this thing up and running, and we're having a lot of fun. So, Sam got the 9th pick.
Yeah.
I got the 1st pick, and Mr. Ritchie got the 4th pick so far. So, let's see who we have next. Mr. Ritchie. I love it, man. Christopher Thomas. Chris is going to take. Chris has to wipe his hands off. He's got a little pizza grease on his hands. All right, let's do the bio on Chris. Chris loves Tetris, loves it. He learned pool from an Eagles O-lineman at 8 p.m. Wait, what?
8 years old.
It says p.m. All right, 8 years old. All right. Brian Westbrook is his favorite player of all time. Okay. All right. I think. Chris, we need to start real quick at who's the Eagles player and tell us a little background of that little story.
Well, I don't really remember that much. I was like 8 years old, but it was back when during the Andy Reid era when they had the Eagles Carnival every year at the vet. Then I just went to one of the tents and one of the Eagles offensive linemen, he actually showed me how to play pool, and that really helped me out because whenever I stayed over at the weekends with my grandmother's, my grandfather had a pool table. So I was able just to pick up really fast and started to play with him every weekend. I go over there.
Nice. I like it. Let me ask you. I'm just running down your list. And Tetris is an interesting pick. It's interesting. Let me guess. You're an architect. Let me hear it, Chris.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
You caught me.
All right. And Brian Westbrook. What stands out to you over Brian Westbrook over the greats that you grew up with, like Dawkins and McNabb and all those guys? Why is Brian Westbrook the guy for you?
Because during growing up during the Donovan McNabb era, Donovan really didn't have a lot of help, especially during the outside. Yeah, Todd Pinkston, who was afraid to go over the middle and catch anything. James Thrash was. There's a reason why in Philadelphia we call him James Trash. Yeah. Freddie Mitchell is completely delusional in thinking that he could have been better than what he is, and thinks it's Donovan McNabb's fault. But Westbrook, to me, defined just about no nonsense, mild-mannered, just goes out, just does his job every single week. I just wish that he was a lot more healthier, especially during the later stages. I think he could have, eventually put some better numbers than what he did.
You have any questions for him?
Oh, I think you covered it all.
Let me just ask you, Chris, real quick before you pick your selection here. What were your thoughts just of your performance last season, and what should we look forward to from Christopher Thomas in 2019?
Hopefully I'll do better in my top 4 picks than what I did last year. One of them was Derrick Henry, a gross overestimation. The other one...
Wait, let me tell you this backstory here about the Derrick Henry pick. So we were sitting down, and I told Chris, I like Derrick Henry. I didn't like Derrick Henry, so I just told him that's good pick. So you can go on.
Oh, well, I already had a prerequisite to already draft him, so you really didn't rock the boat that much. Yeah, so he was one of my first 4. Then the next one was Kareem Hunt, obvious reasons what happened to him. And then the other one was Jimmy Graham. So even all that, I still made the playoffs, had a first-round bye, but it was literally at a point in which I cut Derrick Henry, and that was decided to be the week that he scored 71 points and he was on waivers. And meanwhile, I'm starting Josh Adams in a playoff game against Sam.
Okay. Yeah. I have one more question because I just need to. Where are you going to draft Derrick Henry this year?
Oh, no, he's D away from me.
All right. Well, let's have him pick. Go ahead, Chris. Let's see what we got here.
Boo! Don't boo me. I already had it rough.
What we got? Number 6.
Number 6.
Right slap dab in the middle.
All right, Chris. What do you think the positives are about having number 6 pick?
Well, in the snake draft, you're always going to be picking around the same spot. That way you'll be able to get a real balanced team. I've been doing a lot of mock drafts, especially in 12-team leagues, so hopefully it works out this year. All right. And nobody pulls a Kareem Hunt.
All right. Early favorite for your number 6 pick. Who do you think is a realistic option, and who would you draft either?
Normally I wouldn't draft running backs unless I have a really high pick, but if I'm just going to give one nugget, probably Le'Veon Bell.
Okay. All right. Well, Mr. Christopher Thomas with the 6th overall selection. Thank you, sir, for joining us. We're going to move right along for this selection show for InsideTheHashes.com. We have, oh man, you want to talk about old people here now, right? Okay, the oldest member of Inside the Hashes, my father, Ray Roberts, coming down, member of RPO Podcast. Tune in every week, usually on Wednesdays. They've been doing some Saturdays, but check out RPO Podcast. Do you guys have a cool slogan?
Just listen, that's all. Make it easy.
Very good. We need to go over technique of how to hold a mic next time. All right, so Ray, my father, who I know all this about already, he's part American Indian, okay? Huge fan of music, very specific. Married for 35 years to a wonderful lady, I must say, in my opinion. In my humble opinion. So, Dad, I mean... huge fan of music, very, very broad. Can we be a little more specific on this?
Classic rock, old music,
Old,
Well,
you say.
Classic rock.
Okay.
But to me, I'm older, so classic rock could be anything from heavy metal to Motown. So,
Okay. All right. Preferred station that you listen to every day?
Usually sports stations, to be honest with you. 94, 97.5, whichever,
Okay. All right. I mean, oh, man.
If I listen to music, I listen to a CD.
Okay. All right. Let's ask here. Part American Indian. Can we be more specific with that as well?
Cherokee.
Cherokee. Okay. Can you tell us anything about Cherokee? Tell us a fun fact.
I visited my grandmother once on a reservation when I was about 7 years old.
Nice. Nice. How was that?
Frustrating because I knew she was dying.
That got dark. Oh, man, that got dark. All right. I'm sorry. Whoa.
7 years old.
No, I feel you. I feel you. Recover. Married for 35 years to a lovely lady, right? Like, as I said. Describe your wife, my mother, in 3 words. Go.
Great cook.
That's 2. Let's do one more.
The most honest person I ever met in my life. Honestly.
That's a lot more than 3. All right, awesome. No, I like it. I respect it. All right, now, quick thoughts about your finish last season in fantasy and what you're looking forward to this year.
Hopefully picking a little bit earlier. Had a lot of injuries, and really, every one of my guys missed at least a half a dozen games. So.
Okay. All right, well, Sam, you have any questions for him? Wait, can we ask this real quick? I'm sorry, I just keep missing, it's my dad, so I got to talk here. So, Sam, do you know about range in mathematics?
I'm not really.
All right, so I'll educate you real quick. Okay, range is you take the highest number, you subtract the lowest number, and that is your range of your set of data. So you are how old?
I am turning 18 in November. So
You're 17. Okay, so you're 17. You're the youngest here. Dad, how old are you?
I'm 57.
Okay.
I've been married twice as long as he's been around.
So that means the range of this is 40 years. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. I don't know. There was nothing really big about it. I just wanted to bring a little mathematics into this conversation.
Information.
Mathematics is useless. Hot take. Hot take.
How you just used it.
Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. Do you have any questions for him?
I was just gonna ask him, how do you think you're Fighting Irish for looking this year? Just to get a little college football sprinkle in there.
I don't want to give away too much. I have them in my top 10. I hope they're in the top 5, 4 or 5 at the end of the year, but I'm not sure about that yet.
All right. Well, let's have you pick out, please. Uh-oh.
Here we go.
That
Here
looks
we
like
go.
number 12 to me. Let's see what we got.
Got number 7. My favorite number.
All right.
Number 7.
All right.
Nice.
He's happy. Look
I am
at that. He's glowing.
I like this now.
Okay.
Put it in your pocket. Oh, he doesn't have one. All right.
Okay, Ray. You have a similar pick to what Chris pulled. Any thoughts on the pick? Or
Just what Chris said. I'd rather be in the middle of the round as opposed to either at the beginning or the end, to be honest with you.
Okay.
You know,
And who are a couple players you might be looking at that pick?
the best player available.
All right. Real quick, last question. We'd spend a lot of time with you. Sell yourself why you are going to be the champion this season.
Last year was the first time in 6 years I wasn't in the final round.
How many times have you beaten me?
I don't. But okay, well, here's the thing though. I've never beaten you, but there have been years when I won the championship rounds when you weren't.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's
2
true.
years ago, I lost to Declan. Correct. Correct. Thank you. You weren't in the championship round. I was.
Oh, that was an injury-riddled year.
You're old. You remember stuff.
That was an injury-riddled year. I did not like that year.
Mine was last year, but I had no excuse.
I mean, I hear a lot of excuses right now, but whatever. Okay.
Extra words was a reach at 7.
All right. Everyone, I would just like to say, as you get older, you kind of lose a little brain cells, so it's fine. All right, Ray,
The one that forgot they were in the championship round. Me or you 2 years ago.
Okay, awesome. I would like to thank you for joining us. You may walk yourself down. Get your walker, walk yourself down. Thank you. Very good. Very good. All right, Ray with the 7th pick in the Inside the Hashes draft coming September 1st. Is it September 1st? Yeah, September 1st. Join us there. We'll be live. September 2nd. I lied. Oh, 2 weeks from today, September 1st. There we go. You lied too. All right. Next one. Oh, we got to get a new cameraman because Jerome Jones is coming on down.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna go down Jerome's intro here. He's the CEO of the company. Has a
Lies.
has a Bengali girlfriend. Met John Gruden in person with a photo. I've seen that photo before. Proud semi-pro football player, champion, playing cornerback.
Yeah, man. Corners.
So, Jerome, how'd your fantasy year last year go? In your eyes?
So look, listen.
I'm listening.
The way I started off the year, it was looking like I was going to be last place. The fact that I came from last to 6th place wasn't bad. We all kind of leveled out at the end. I think it was a really good year. I lost to the champion, so I'm not too mad, but I am mad.
Your feelings on the saying, if you're not first, you're last.
I agree with it, to be honest. I agree.
So everything you said was just nullified.
I was just trying to make myself look good as the CEO, so yeah.
Okay. Is Bengali, okay, you need to tell us about this. Is that like a Bengals fan?
Well, you could say that she likes Bengals. I mean,
No way.
Yeah, she likes
You're
Bengals.
lying.
She likes
Oh,
Bengals.
man.
So Bengali is people from Bangladesh, which is right next to India. So she's Bengali. Hey, girl.
Is she watching?
She's not watching, but I'm gonna make her watch.
So you met John Gruden once. Have you tuned into any of the Hard Knocks this year? Have you got?
As the CEO, I had a lot of time where I wasn't able to watch it, but I know John Gruden probably is down a lot of people's throats, which I heard. Really good coach, really good guy actually. One of the few coaches that was willing to just literally just take a picture. So he was a really good guy and he was cool. So.
Well, I had to say, Jerome, we have the 1st pick taken. We have the 4th pick taken, right? 6 and 7. We got 9 taken. What is your sweet spot right now as far as draft pick?
So right now, my sweet spot would be like around 5. I know I'm probably gonna get like lower than that right now. Looking at how the board is playing out. Yeah. I mean, so I'm hoping for like 5. I don't want to get too high either, but I definitely don't want 11 or 12. But it's looking more likely right now.
You want to do the honors?
Let's go.
Ooh.
Don't cheat. Oh, I cheated last year, right?
12. Yeah, right.
Ocho.
Oh, nice.
It's a good spot. I like it. I'm going with 8. Like I said, I didn't want to be 11, 12. I didn't want to be 2. Good spot. I like it.
That makes one of us.
Jerome, do you have any players in mind for that 8 spot, or you just gonna work?
I'm going to be bold and draft Greg DeLeg, the kicker.
I mean, he scores like 15 points a game. So.
Yeah. So I might as well. I mean, as a Rams fan, he knows that, right?
Yeah. He scored more points than Jimmy Graham did last year.
He did. He did. Oh no! They went there. That's so funny. But yeah.
All right. Well, Jerome, I want to actually ask you a serious question here before you get off, okay? You're not going to give us anything on what player you're going to take, which is very crafty. I mean, I wouldn't do it either, right? Is there a position group that you might be favoring?
Well, looking at where I'm at right now, probably it's going to be a wide receiver. So I'm probably going to get the top wide receiver, but generally I like to go running back first. Okay. But being at 8, usually running backs go heavy in the beginning. So usually around that time I can grab the best wide receiver and come back and get a good running back at the second.
I got you. Well, let me ask you. We have 3 guys on the board. Michael Thomas, we got Devontae Adams, and we have Odell Beckham Jr. Rank them.
Devontae Adams, Mike Evans, and who else?
Mike Thomas.
Mike Thomas?
Mike Thomas and Odell. I did not say Mike Evans.
Oh, you didn't say Mike Evans? All right. Well, I will say Odell first.
Oh, he's going to draft Mike Evans. You hear that?
I'm going to get no, I'm sorry. Devontae first, Odell, and then who was the third? Mike Thomas? Yeah, Mike Thomas third.
Boldness. Boldness from the CEO of Inside the Hashes. Well, Jerome, thank you for joining us. We're going to kick you out of here. Thank you, sir.
You guys doing a great job, by the way.
Okay.
Great job.
Yes. We're better than Kevin Crockett. That's what I have to say about this. Okay. I think we have one more live interview here, and then we have a couple that might be on Skype. Do we have 1 or 2 on Skype? We have 2 on Skype. Is Juan also on Skype? We got him on Skype? Okay, cool. Austin, right? Okay, perfect. Yeah, we got that. Okay, but our last live for tonight is going to be Mr. Avery Collins, a partner, owner of Inside the Hashes. A little intro on Avery. He has 8 siblings. Wow. Never been out of the country, ever. Lion King is the greatest movie ever. Yeah, it's pretty good. Did you see the live action?
I did, and it was awesome.
Yes, right. Thank you. A lot of critics were very harsh on it. I loved it, personally. Okay, let's say he finished 11th place last year.
Probably.
Yes, no, it says it. It's in pen. It's got to be a fact. All right, well, just your thoughts on the last season in review and your expectations for this season.
Well, obviously 11th place is not where you want to finish. I got hot midway through the season, and I thought I was going to be able to, make a nice little push for the playoffs. It didn't work that way. Don't draft Le'Veon Bell if he's holding out. This year, takeaways, don't draft anybody who's holding out. There you go.
No Zeke then, huh? No Zeke.
First, what do you mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Absolutely not.
All right. Let's see what we got here.
Okay, Avery, being one of 8, how has that influenced your life as just a football fan, or do you guys watch games together, or how's that?
Well, to be honest, only me and my younger brother really share a passion for the sport. We were the only 2 that played. However, everybody in the family loves football. Yeah. It's good to watch games together and everything like that. Most of them are Eagles fans. I enjoy the fact that there is some variety there. My older brother likes the Raiders. My youngest brother likes the Chargers. I'm a Falcons fan, so it's a mixture. So it's good.
Okay, so how do you feel about your Falcons this year?
I think we're legitimate contenders for a Super Bowl run. I think we get both of our starting safeties back, our starting middle linebacker back, our starting running back back. We had 2 of our offensive guards go down for the year last year. So I think if we can remain healthy, I believe that, even with that happening, we were a top 10 team last year. Matt Ryan had similar numbers to his MVP season. So I think defensively, if we can remain healthy, I think we get back into that top 10 echelon as far as defenses, and that can, bode well for us, making a playoff run and Super Bowl push.
Where would you, what round would you draft Devonta Freeman in?
Devonta Freeman, I believe that he's actually a little bit underrated in regards to the volume of how much he touches the ball. You're talking about somebody who's almost guaranteed to give you 1,500 to close to 2,000 yards from scrimmage. And I believe prior to last year, every year he had been in the league, he was in the top 3 in scoring touchdowns. So I think he gets back to that if he can remain healthy. So I would say the latest 3rd round.
You think Ito Smith and the others will play a part in like a committee type deal? Or you think it's Freeman's show?
I think they will try to preserve Freeman more because they understand, after having last season end the way that it did, and there's no shade or anything to Tevin Coleman or any of the other backs because, again, you got 2 offensive guards that went down as well. But I think that they will try to preserve him just to, avoid any injury. And I think Ito Smith shows that he is another well-rounded back. He likes to run in between the tackles, but he can catch it out the backfield as well. And, I think we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
I have the most important question of the night. So you're a Lion King fan. We already discussed your love for the live-action Lion King that just came out. Your favorite and least favorite voice actor or actress in the movie.
Okay, favorite voice outside of the singing was Scar. I thought he did pretty well. I thought he brought a different dynamic to Scar that we weren't used to. Least favorite, without question, was Beyonce.
Yes.
I think Beyonce, because she had moments where it was like, oh, okay, that's good, and then the other moments was like, oh, it's Beyonce. She can't act. I'm sorry.
Right.
Beehive, please, don't kill me. I'm just for being honest. Great performer. She can't act. She can't do it.
So going in this draft, are you going with the Hakuna Matata model? No worries? Or are you stressing this draft after that 11th place finish last year?
Absolutely no worries. Simply because that was my first time ever playing fantasy last year. So this year I've got a little more experience. I've figured out some things, and I think I believe I'll definitely be in the playoffs this year.
So there's only up from here, or back to 12.
That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen unless I draft 12, which you're going to see. You'll see.
Avery, going to the honors?
Let's do this.
Let's see what we got.
Thank you.
All right. I called it.
Number 12?
I called it. All right. There it is.
All right. Hey, so I will say this, Avery. I think 12 is the most underrated selection in this draft. You hit the back-to-backs. This is a year where we have a lot of depth at running back. After the top 2, we know that the committee role is in full effect in the NFL now. So running back isn't quite the position of value that it used to be. So we have the back-to-back at 12 and 13. Just your quick thoughts about the strategy going into that.
Well, I think there's if I was to say pick 2 things, one, I can kind of dictate the flow of the next round. So I think I'm going to be very mindful of that. And then number 2, I think that in those later rounds you can kind of push the pace. And so I'm gonna make sure that I keep you guys on your toes.
Okay. And a sleeper for this year, a sleeper guy that maybe people aren't talking about that you think is going to be a big scorer in fantasy.
Well, I'm going to take a page out of Sam's book, and I'm going to say that I think the receivers are probably going to make some noise. And I think with the retirement of Gronk, I think the Patriots drafting Harry in the first round, I think he gets a little more targets than people really expect. So don't sleep.
Even with Josh Gordon coming back.
Without question. I think Josh Gordon has proven to us that he cannot remain on the field. So until I can see a full 16-game season from him, I can't be a believer in him as a fantasy star.
Okay. And any positions that you're going to focus on 12 and 13?
Tune in September 1st.
Okay. Awesome. Well, Mr. Avery Collins for Inside the Hatches, thank you so much, Avery, for coming up. We appreciate it with the 12th pick, Avery. Now we're going to go to a little bit of a different segment. We're going to have a couple guys that are via Skype join us. Is that how we're doing this, Jerome? Yes, that's how we're doing it. So I have first in random selection Mr. Austin Bronstad. I hope I said that last name correctly. Austin, I apologize if I have not. I'm close. Okay. All right. I'm close. I like it. All right. Can you correct it for me?
It's
Bronstad. Isn't that what I said?
I think you said that.
All right. I don't know. Go. All right. We got it.
That's good.
Brand? Did I? I said brand? Okay. All right. All right. So Mr. Austin is from I'll say I know he's from Texas. In high school, he played in a Texas baseball state championship game. He led intramural team in picks last year, 3 and 4 games, and he's never been out of the country. So you have another guy like Avery Collins who has never been out of the country. That means he has to take a trip. So, Austin, let me ask you, man. So you've never been out of the country. Where would your destination of choice be if you can go anywhere?
I think my family's going on a trip to Bahamas this Christmas. It's great.
That's exciting. What are you most excited about that trip?
I honestly have no clue. I don't have enough information. I'm gonna hit up Atlantis for at least one day to see how that's like. So.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry, guys. You can't hear him on live. I didn't realize that until it said. So he's going to the Bahamas. He's not really sure what he's expecting, but it sounds like he's going to have a lot of fun opportunities to do a bunch of things down there. Intramural team in picks. Austin, just talk to me a little bit about the intramural team. What position were you playing where you got these 3 picks, and how was your team overall successfully?
We went 0-3.
0-3.
Wins were forfeits.
All the ones were forfeits. Okay.
Yeah, we were not very good.
You were not good. But you were the star player, it sounds like. Okay.
I was just like playing safety corner on defense whenever we did that.
Okay. And let me ask you, Austin, what is your experience with fantasy, and what should we expect from you this year?
I used to do it all the time. I haven't been able to do it as much recently, but when I was usually at least the top 3 team, if not winning it.
Okay. So he's a little out of practice, but in the past when he has played, he's a top 3 team, usually. So we should expect a lot out of Austin, another rookie to the league. Austin, is there a pick that you're looking at right now where you're saying that's the pick I want potentially of what's left?
Not really. Wherever you put me, I like to pick.
Okay. All right, so he's open to anything. I'm going to have my man Sam here pick for Austin Ronstadt. Did I say it that time? All right, we got it. All right.
Okay.
If you can get it out.
There we go.
There we go. Got it.
Austin will be drafting at the 10 slot.
Number 10, Austin. Number 10. Quick initial thoughts. What do you think about the 10th selection?
I'll take it. I'm happy with that.
Okay.
Gives me a couple of earlier picks instead of 1 and 24.
Okay. All right, so he'll take it. He said that he'll take the 10th selection and he gets the quick turnaround with the snake draft. Being very good. Austin, what should we expect out of you, and what are you just looking for with the team? Do you think that you're a legitimate championship contender this first season? Oh, most definitely. All right. Oh, man, a few words. Most definitely. I like it. Austin, thank you so much for coming on. Do you have any questions for Austin before we get him off?
I think we covered it, yeah.
I think we covered it. All right, Austin Bronstad with the 10th pick. Thank you so much for joining us, Austin. Looking forward to beating you this year. All right. All right, Austin is done. We got one more via Skype. You can introduce him.
Thanks, Ryan. Okay, we got Juan Guarwin Camargo. No?
Yes,
Yes.
you got it. Good job,
Okay.
Sam.
He's a twin. It makes okay.
Another twin.
That's another twin. I'm a twin too. He speaks 3 languages. That's pretty impressive. He doesn't believe there's such a thing as Central Jersey.
I agree.
So
In the existence of Central Jersey.
Wad was very, very.
All the way down Route 9, dude. As soon as you get up near Central Jersey.
Oh, my dad is giving him some directions now. So Juan does not believe in Central Jersey. Juan, if there was a Central Jersey, where would Central Jersey be?
I mean, if there was a Central Jersey, I guess it would have to be in Middlesex, so it's like right in the name, like right there.
Middlesex. I mean, that's a good way to start. I agree. That sounds great.
It would just be limited to there. I mean, the rest is just surrounding territory from North and South Jersey.
So we have, according to Juan, Middlesex is the only part of Central Jersey. Everything else is north and south. Right, Juan. Here's a little curveball for you though. Is there an East and West Jersey?
Well, I don't know, because if that's the case, then it's kind of a weird divide. So I'm just gonna say that tonight.
He's gonna say no. Okay, Avery Collins say something about Philly. What's up?
The real question is there an East Philadelphia? No, there isn't.
Huh, Juan, do you have anything about an East Philadelphia?
This is the Aired Out podcast that we do on Inside the Hashes. We have a full discussion on that as it is.
Okay, so you had to tune in to Air It Out Podcast hosted by Juan, Avery Collins, also Chris Thomas on there. You got to join them for the next episode. I guess you guys are going to discuss whether there is an East Philadelphia. So, I mean, that should be the whole podcast, really. What's football? Am I right? Anyway, okay. All right, so let's see what else we got. Juan, tell me, what are the 3 languages you speak?
I speak English, Spanish, and I speak German.
German? Where did German come from?
I spent a year in Germany doing an exchange program where, funny enough, I did a presentation about New Jersey, and I only acknowledged the existence of North and South Jersey, hence why I don't believe in the separation.
Okay, listeners, viewers, I'm sorry you can't hear. This is the greatest conversation I've ever had in my life. Okay, to start off, I didn't repeat his answer. He speaks Spanish, English, obviously, and German. He was a part of an exchange program. He went over to Germany, and he did a presentation about New Jersey and the fact that there is no north and there is no central. There's a north and a south Jersey. What man? Wow. Juan, did they have any information about New Jersey before this, or were you their first element of New Jersey?
A lot of them thought that I was from New York. They thought like New Jersey is just like a suburb of New York. So
North Jersey is.
Okay.
At the same time, I like, I rep that Jersey pride, show them like we're not all the Guidos that were made out to be on Jersey Shore, nor are we the Sopranos. We're all good mixed people, so I try to, show my kids a pride.
Okay, we're all a good mix of people, he says. We're not all Jersey Shore and Sopranos. They didn't know much about New Jersey. They thought we were just a suburb of New York. So he reps his Jersey pride. I think I got every part of that. I think I'm a great listener. Just ask my wife if you have any inkling that I might not be. Okay. Yes, that was the question. Very good. So Juan, I don't know if you're a good fantasy player, man. So tell me, what's the history of it?
Well, my first year playing fantasy, I was doing my senior.
Okay, so 2-time player. He won first place his first year because he finagled Christian McCaffrey and was able to put him as his flex. Second year, his quarterback position was not great, so he took 4th place. Still sounds like a pretty tough competitor. Juan, sell me. Why are you going to win the 2019 Inside the Hashes Fantasy League?
Preseason, see how they do.
Okay, so he's a big preseason fan, and I kind of blocked out after he said he was a Jets fan. So I got Ray wants to come up, so why don't you come take a seat real quick? First thing I want to ask Juan is, man, the one person I didn't think I would hear on this podcast was Ty Montgomery. I don't have a question. That's just a statement for you. So I'm going to ask Ray, what is your question for Mr. Juan?
Juan, where in New Jersey do you live? Where? So so that's New Jersey, I guess. Well, if it's not a suburb of New York, why are you a Jets fan? Okay, thank you. All done.
So Juan,
Got the mic, but it's not mine.
all right, so he couldn't hear it. Man, I wish you guys could hear this. It's a great conversation, Juan. I'm not being facetious at all. It's a really good conversation. He says that he's Latino, so he's a Jets fan. That's what I got out of. Is that what you got?
That's what I got, yeah.
Okay. All right, Juan. I'm gonna let Sam pick again for you. So Juan, ready? Here we go. See what you got.
Here we go, Juan. And Juan will be picking
Number
2. You can have Juan.
number 2.
Any thoughts?
Oh man, that's awesome. That's like the highest I've ever picked up.
All right. So what should we expect? It's the highest he's ever picked. What should we expect?
Guess you're gonna have to wait to see.
Le'Veon Bell.
That's too high, in my opinion. That's too high.
I agree that I agree. He sounds like a very well-spoken man, and he's Latino. So that's awesome, man. All right, Juan, any closing remarks? What should we expect from you in this first season? And how excited are you for number 2? And tell me who you're going to take after I take. Well, forget it. I'm not going to say what I'm going to take. All right, so let me rephrase this question. Scratch that question. I didn't ask that, okay? Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, and Alvin Kamara on the board. Who you taking?
I know we're a PPR league, but still.
Okay. All right. So for the guys that couldn't listen, he loves Saquon. He likes Christian McCaffrey. He thinks he's a little slight. Juan, have you seen Christian McCaffrey this offseason? My boy is yoked. What does it say? Okay, Juan. So let me ask you real quick before we get off of here. Then, so Saquon's your number one in that situation. Let's say Saquon's gone. Okay, now who would you take? I love it. All right, Juan. Thank you so much for joining us, man. We appreciate it. I look forward to beating you as well. Thank you. Awesome. All right, so we have some quick picks here now. We'll end this very quickly. 8:55, so we're going to wrap this up right at 9 o'clock, it looks like. Before I pick here, Sam, just quick thoughts about what we've experienced so far tonight.
I think we have a very competitive league. I think it's going to be a lot more competitive than last year. I mean, me and Ryan kind of ran away with it. That's why we're up here tonight, just to give everyone an idea. But, yeah, I really think we have a competitive league from guys like Juan, who loves Central Jersey, and everyone else who, I just think this season's going to be fun. It's a really interesting year. A lot of wild cards in there, like Elliott and Melvin Gordon, so it's going to be interesting come September 1st, so tune in, definitely.
All right. Well, let's intro the next guy, and then we're going to pick for him. We have Micah Jamo, who I know is a blogger for Inside the Hashes. I hired him, actually. He's an awesome young man. He's very young, but he's a really good writer. So his little bio here, he's addicted to rice.
Rice.
Okay. Anything with the rice, Micah, or are we just doing rice? Okay, just rice. Okay. White or brown? Okay, anyway, all right. Owned his own NFL website in middle school. I knew that because I interviewed him, like I said. Carry Vaseline wherever he goes.
Wow. I don't think you should be telling us that, but yeah. That's cool.
Wow. I mean, I can't ask Micah any questions, but I have questions.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions.
Yes. All right, so I guess I'm just going to pick for Micah since
Yeah,
we don't have anything.
okay.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
All right, we have Micah Jamo with number 11, the worst pick in the first round. Really is, though. Okay. Your thoughts on number 11?
I think number 11, kind of like Ryan said, is kind of a wild card spot, but I feel like if he could kind of venture out and almost pick a player that he really believes is going to break out this year, it could be a Juju Smith-Schuster type pick, and I believe he has the ability. He could be a number one receiver in fantasy, possibly. So I think he's going to have to make a bold pick there because a lot of the obvious guys are going to be off the board.
All right, well, we're just going to move on. Micah, good luck, sort of. So we have Mr. Declan Hughes, who is a second time playing. He won the Fantasy League 2 years ago, the unofficial, not part of Inside the Hashes, but only an 8th place finish last year. Not a great year for him. I know he's really excited about getting back at this. Quick bio on him. I know him very well. He's engaged to my sister-in-law. So he's from Scotland, Greenock. Worked this summer as a sports coach in New Jersey and in New York. He got engaged this summer, too. I figured that would be important to mention, but voted the funniest guy in school, and it's hard to argue against it. All right. Well, I guess you guys will have to tune in to the actual fantasy draft to hear if Declan actually is funny.
Hopefully his fiance's not watching this, but
I know. Morgan, I'm sorry if you're watching this and he didn't mention you on your card, man. I mentioned Caitlin. Like, that's crazy, right? Anyway, all right, so let's see what Declan's got. I mean, hopefully it's better than 8th place finish. All right. Declan Hughes with number 5. Really? Why?
5.
Oh, 5's Avery's favorite number. Okay. This strikes me as a tough selection here.
Yeah, that really
because
does
there is
strike
those
me.
4 running backs if Zeke decides to play that you're going to look at the top of the draft, and then number 5 might be the first receiver.
I think Declan's gonna have a hard time trying to find a player. You got Kamara, Saquon, McCaffrey. I really think if he was smart, I would go towards the DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones route just to be safe, because then you know what you're getting there. If he goes Zeke, you just don't know at this point. He could get crazy lucky and win the league, or he could be an Avery situation like last year. But
Melvin Gordon. I would draft him.
No,
all
definitely
right.
not him.
Well, all right. So we have Declan. Declan, I wish you good luck with number 5. I mean, it's not the worst pick in the world. We'll see what you do with it. I'm hoping for more success out of you, man. I honestly am. Like, last year really disappointed me. because now we're in a. I mean, real quick segue here. We're in a fantasy soccer league, right? Because I had to do that. I'm in first place right now. It's only been 2 weeks, but who cares, right? Yeah. Right. Okay. Yes, he should be better than me. It's his national sport, but whatever, right? Okay, last guy here, and then we're wrapping up. Mr. Dom Wadilla. He is a member of the RPO podcast with Ray, Jerome. They talk college sports there, college football, obviously, specifically. Quick bio. Played football with Donovan McNabb in Disney. I bet he underthrew him. In the postseason, every year in fantasy. Every year until this year. And he doesn't like buffalo wings, so you can't trust the man, basically. That's weird. That's weird, Dom. That's really super weird. Anything strike you on that besides the buffalo wings? That thing just caught me.
No, Ray, what do you think? You have experience with Dom. Any things we should know, look out
Bring
for
it
this
back
season?
up?
Yeah,
Ray,
come on.
Come on down. Last little
What do you want to know?
entrance over here. Yeah.
Any tidbits you could let us know before we?
Describe Dom in 3 words.
He loves a Clemson quarterback.
Adjectives. Pick a darn adjective. Okay.
He loves Trevor Lawrence, okay?
He doesn't like buffalo wings.
Okay. Why does that matter?
You can't trust a man that doesn't.
So I think what he's trying to say is he might be a Clemson guy. He may. Think,
No, he's a Penn State guy, but he loves Trevor Lawrence.
okay.
Front runner. Okay. Thanks, Ray.
Okay.
All right. Well,
All right.
hobble yourself back over there. Thank you. All right.
So there you got it.
So, Dom, we're going to pick you. You're the last guy here. So, in my head, I should have the number, but I haven't been keeping track. So, I don't know what pick you have here, okay? Number 3. I'm not gonna break it here. All right. Dom Wadilla has the number 3 selection in the Inside the Hashes fantasy draft. Number 3. Dom somehow lucked out by working. Isn't that great? So he's making money and getting the 3rd overall selection. Good for him. Good for him.
Yeah, I really think Dom's in a good spot there at number 3 because he could kind of just sit back and see what the first 2 do and then see if one running back falls, and he could kind of control the rest of the round from there.
I mean, without Zeke right now, we're looking at 3 guys potentially. Obviously, Saquon, Christian McCaffrey, and Alvin Kamara are the guys that we're looking at potentially the top 3 picks. So he's going to get the best guy available at that pick. So, Dom Wadilla, do we have a comment or something over there? What's going on here? Negative. No comments. All right, awesome. So Dom Wadilla ends with the 3rd pick, which wraps up our list, I think, right? Yeah. All right, cool. All right, so quick remarks, real quick.
That's our Inside the Hashes group this year for fantasy football. Should be an interesting year.
An outro. I didn't even ask for that. I love it. That's good.
I think me and Ryan are going to have a little bit of tougher time with the league this year. I believe there's a lot more talent out there. So it should be interesting. It was fun to get to know what everyone's thinking before the draft. Maybe use that as some leverage come September 1st. Ryan, what are you thinking here?
I feel very good with the 1st pick. I'll put it that way. I mean I talked about this before. I have blood. I'm coming for blood this year. I'm not gonna have fun this year until I win the championship, and then I'm gonna have a lot of fun. Okay, that's all I have to say. So, thank you guys. This is the official outro. I'll let Sam sign off for real, but Ryan Roberts, Sam Kirk, a part of Inside the Hashes for this 2019 Fantasy League selection show. We thank you all for listening and taking care. Please, again, September 1st, 2 weeks from today, join us for the fantasy draft. Sam, send your salutations.
I'll see you guys September 1st. Look for a back-to-back championship.
What? Website, www.insidethehashes.com. Check out Instagram at Inside the Hashes and Twitter, Inside the Hashes. Thank you all again for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you guys September 1st.